Hey guys, how's it going? We do everything here at Scale Model Alberta. Cars, planes, trains, well maybe not so much trains, but cars, airplanes, tanks, armor, dioramas, vignettes, all that kind of good stuff. So what we're going to do here guys is I'm going to do a quick little tutorial on simple ground covers. So what you're going to need of course is a base, some celluclay. Michael's is the best spot I found for celluclay. Inexpensive, ready to roll. A little bit of LePage's polyfilla, which you can get pretty much at any hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, Canadian Tire, whatever, and some kind of a white glue. You can use your kids' LePage's white glue from school. You can use just about anything. I just happen to have some of this Woodland Scenic Cement. It's a brush or spray on adhesive. We'll use this again later, but that's going to be our bonder. There is an adhesive in the celluclay, but I like to put a little bit of white glue in it extra. So there's your basics guys. Let's get her mixed up and ready to roll. So the first thing you do with the ground cover, you start off with your paper mache. I just use a old butter knife. I'm going to break it up inside the plastic. Stuff's kind of messy, so if you do it in the garage or something probably off your model bench works too. I'll just pull out the vacuum and get this tidied up. So this breaks down. This is an awful lot like melting snow. You're not, how much you put in there isn't what you're going to necessarily get. So there, fill that up pretty much. Right up to the top of the cup. You can use an old cup like this or a margarine container or whatever. Now let's just get some our liquids in there. So we'll start off with just some plain old tap water. We'll get that mixed up. Now that I've also added some of the Woodland Scenic spray on brush on adhesive, so you get yourself into a nice little slurry like this. Now this is an optional step. The next one here is the polyfilla. You can also, I always used to use the dry stuff in a box, but I just happen to have this available. Now the only reason I pop this in my mix is what happens is it makes the paper mache just a little bit harder. It's not quite as soft. Paper mache tends to be a little spongy. No, I wouldn't say spongy, but a little bit softer. If you go ahead and throw this polyfill in, it makes the cover just a little bit harder when it dries. So we'll throw that in and get her mixed up. So we've got this mixed up to a nice heavy consistency. Still soft enough to work with, but it's going to spread nicely. So that's what you want it to look like. Just a good heavy slurry there. Not a slurry, but just a good heavy mix. Now we've got the base here. Now it's just a simple matter of popping her on. Now when you're using a wooden base guys, always make sure you give her 2 or 3 good coats of varnish, because the moisture in this will cause an unvarnished base to warp really quickly with all the moisture in it. Now I've built up much more than I need for this one diorama, but I've got another base here I want to cover up. It's always a good idea to pop some masking tape along the edges just to keep things tidy. It just looks better when your bases have a nice sharp edge. Now you're gonna want to make sure you peel this masking tape off before your ground cover dries. You've got several hours to work with this. That's the nice thing about the paper mache. It does tend to dry fairly slow. Now you could, if you wanted to, put a little bit of color in this, some earth tones, but I found that it looks just so washed out doing it like that. I've just decided just to leave it as is in the gray color, and then just paint afterwards, either with pigments or with just some acrylic paints. That way you can get a nice, this is going to be a grassy meadow. So you don't want to be putting your static grass over top of this gray mixture or slurry, because it's just not going to look that good. So take your time. You've got plenty of time. The polyfiller will cut down your working time a bit, but not by much. You can use this same mixture if you want to do a water scene. You can tease some really nice little waves into this and make it look quite convincing, actually, guys. You can also add a little bit of acrylic resin in this, or not a resin, but an acrylic mix from an art supply shop. That also helps quicken up the drying time and makes it a lot tougher. So there we've got the basics. I just need to fill this a bit here. I had a little bit of a oops. There. That's your basic ground cover. It's very, very simple. There's nothing much to it other than that. It just gives you a little bit of texture, gives you a little bit of time if you want to throw in some ruts into there. Now I'm going to set a 105mm Canon into this. You don't want to leave it in there because it will dry, but I want to get it placed in there to give it the feeling of weight. Yeah, right about there. Now the thing with these with the Canons, usually they got a hole dug out there and some dirt padded behind there, so I want to show that here. Spin that around here for you guys. I want a distinct pile of dirt there, is what I'm trying to show. So this will be a lot easier if you just leave it for a couple hours and then come back and revisit it to give it a little bit, it'll be a little bit firmer, so you'll be able to work it a lot better to make it look like a pile of dirt as opposed to a pile of schmeg like it looks now. Alright, but there's your general idea, guys. That's your basic, your first coat, your first step in doing a base. Can make just a little bit of a hollow there. So right now this is just a little bit too soft to do anything more with. So you're gonna have to let it cure up a bit before you start putting some ruts in and sculpting this base a little bit more. As you can see, I've got quite a bit left over here, but that's okay because I've got another base that I'm going to start sculpting on here right now. So anyway, guys, that's the first step. I'm not sure how I'm going to post this, one at a time or wait till it's all done. Probably just one at a time and wait till the whole series is all finished up. But there's your basic ground cover for dioramas, guys. It's simple, it's easy. There's a lot more steps to go, but this is the first one. Thanks for watching. Later, bye.